It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
Elon, where are you? Where are you? You know, I thought I was going to make a video on this stupid, not State of the Union speech, but State of the Union speech, but the whole thing is like that. So I'm going to make another video. The days of unelected bureaucrats are over. Here, check this out.
And I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. GOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it.
Perhaps. Unelected bureaucrats. Stand up, Elon. Stand up.
Which is headed by Elon Musk, which
the lawyers said it wasn't. Because that is a glaring conflict of interest. This was what the episode. Yeah, cheer him. How happy are you? Yeah, Elizabeth Warren's got the right idea, put it on her phone. This is what I was waiting for. I thought I'd make an episode about this. But it seems much more appropriate. It seems much more timely to make an episode on why the President of the United States can say things that don't mean anything. Here, you want another one, huh? Right here. Eggs!
Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control.
Joe Biden! Let the
egg prices out of control.
Get out of control! Right?
And we're working hard to get
you
it
know
back
what I mean?
Down, Secretary.
Instead of making an episode following this, because that's all it is, I made it. I went an hour and 20 minutes. It's just lie after lie. I don't know who eats it up still. It's a testament to just how dumb we are as a country. Instead of making that, I thought it'd be much better to make an episode on why he can say this stuff. And it doesn't mean anything anymore. Reactionary nihilism. Much of the energy of the movement comes from below, from the anger and resentment that characterizes life among those who perceive more or less accurately that they are falling behind. The best label I can find for the phenomenon, and I do not pretend it is fully satisfactory label, is reactionary nihilism. It is reactionary in the sense that it expresses itself as mortal opposition to perceived catastrophic change in the political order. It is nihilistic because its deepest premise is that the actual world is devoid of value, impervious to reason. This is what we're living through. People ask me, why are things the way they are? And governable only through brutal acts of will. It stands for a kind of unraveling of the American political mind, a madness that afflicts one side of nearly every political debate. And anyone that's had to have a conversation with a Republican in the last 16 years knows exactly what this lady, Katherine Stewart, is talking about in her book, Money, Lies, and God. Welcome to the Chud Report. I'm your host, MJ. If it's your first time here, you end up liking it, make sure you subscribe. Do you guys like super on-the-nose metaphors? Tom Schultz was appointed by Trump to oversee 193 acres of forest and public land as Forest Service Chief. That's 154 national forests, 20 grasslands, and 43 states. His job's going to be maintaining, looking after, protecting the national forest. And do you know what Tom Schultz's previous job was? Was he a scientist? Has he been studying this his whole life? Was he even a ranger's aide like I was during the summer in high school? Did he do any of that? Come on, man. He was previously the vice president of resources and government affairs at Idaho Forest Group, a company that is now one of the largest lumber producers, right? The appointment comes as Trump administration moved to increase logging in national forests. This guy, in charge of the forest, made all his money destroying the forest. If there is a better metaphor out there, if there is a more apt metaphor for the Republican Party, please let me know. Stop leaving yourself vulnerable to data breaches and brokers. Go to my sponsor right here, Aura. Type in the Chud Report right after that / to get a 14-day free trial and see if any of your data has been exposed. If you are a regular viewer of this channel, you don't need me to tell you that this administration is absolutely gutting all regulation. Your data is the least protected it has ever been. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is shuttered, right? That's the main agency tasked with overseeing the financial products and service used by everyday Americans, from credit cards to checking accounts to home loans. It's gone. Aura will continuously monitor the dark web and alert me if they find my personal information exposed. And the thing is, they're going to let me know fast if anyone tries to use this information to access my credit or my bank accounts. This past week, this is a true story, my credit took a hit. And within minutes, I was able to use Aura to find an account that was open in my name and take action before any real damage was done. You know? Plus, and listen to this, I've never heard a company be so confident in their product. You tell me any other company in this day and age is this confident in their product. They will give me $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst case scenario happen. And getting $5 million is not the worst case scenario. Aura has never been more essential, from protecting myself from straight up malicious attacks all the way down to annoying scam calls. Aura will identify these data brokers online who are selling my information and submit opt-out requests on my behalf. They've already submitted. I've had it, like 2 months? They've already submitted hundreds of these requests. And I'll tell you what, I don't get spam calls anymore. Just listen to me. Give Aura just a few weeks and you'll stop seeing your information on these sites when you search yourself, which will lead to less spam. You know? The Aura app also has a VPN. I use this all the time with 100 plus virtual locations. I even canceled my previous VPN that I had for 10 years because Aura has so many more features all in one place. And I only recommend products on this channel that I believe in, right? So the link is right here and also in the description of the video if you want to come back later and grab it. Go to my link right here, aura.com/thechudreport to try 14 days for free. 14 days for free. That'll be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed. A Russian asset in charge of intelligence. A drunk Fox News host repealing any kind of cyber operations against Russia. Repealing cyber operations against Russia in the year 2025. You didn't actually think we'd get to have a democratic election again, did you? A conspiracy theorist who wants an authoritarian police state in charge of the FBI, and on and on and on. World's biggest lumber maker in charge of the forest, right? Reactionary, nihilism, nothing matters, a byproduct of postmodernism, probably mixed in with some deconstructionism. Whoa, reactionary, nihilism, deconstructionism. Come on, man, postmodernism? What is this channel? Tuning in here for some, where are the fart jokes, right? Well, this is for you. Deconstruct this fart. And nihilism isn't just affecting governance altogether. I mean, it's rampant. Economic policy, Look no further than the recent push to make America's financial system into a playground for speculators. You know what I mean? Rather than strengthening social safety nets or offering real opportunities, they give you crypto. Right? You know what I mean? This approach sells people on an illusion. It helps keep the status quo. This administration is taking away all the safety nets. You know what I mean? Because they want techno-feudalism. That's the ultimate goal of it. And there's nothing more nihilistic than feudalism. You know what I mean? Rather than straighten these social safety nets, they pull them out. And they tell you can just buy crypto if you want to jump the line. If you want to jump the line, you can buy this digital lottery ticket. Lottery tickets on their own skew and prey upon the poor, right? Disproportionately poor people, lower class people buy lottery tickets. And now we have this other scheme that doesn't even have the rules of a lottery. Or, as they say right here, these two bros just talking.
Don't bet the
families,
palm.
if you put your
Don't bet
family's
the palm
wealth
on a meme coin.
in the Hawk Tua
At the risk
coin,
of saying something bold and outrageous, don't bet the farm on a meme
A billionaire and a multi-millionaire.
The weird
giving
one
you
is
advice.
the pump and dumps. Like people
happen
get
all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and people get shocked that somebody pump and dumped. Like, what are you doing? Did you like? I was hoping to dump. I was hoping to make all the money out of this. I can't believe they got me. Like,
Yeah.
it's just weird that it's legal.
It's weird.
still.
It's legal.
I mean, casinos are legal.
Yeah.
And
It is
people
like a
just
casino.
lose money.
It
at
is
casinos.
nothing like a casino. The world's smartest man here talking to Joe. Isn't Joe Rogan only one of 80 people that's funny or whatever he said? Right out the gate, you play craps, you know the odds. 49% chance. Blackjack's like 48% chance. Whatever, you know the odds. It's state regulated. These two, Joe Rogan going out to a million people with the smartest man here. It's like a casino. And this is how nihilistic they are. Because at the same time, they're telling you to get involved with Bitcoin. There's one guy behind these coins, a group of people who are going to pull the rug on you. There's no gambling involved. You're the sucker. And how embarrassing is it that the President of the United States used this to enrich himself even more off the morons that follow him? They tell you to get into Bitcoin, and at the same time, they dismantle financial regulations and consumer protections. You know what I mean? This isn't setting the future up to be bright. This is setting the future up to be feudalism, to have you subservient to a ruling class. It's a win-win for this nihilistic party. If these people get rich, they credit it to genius. Look at them. They point to the one person that got rich off of it. You could be just like them. You just got to keep trying. If they crash and burn, well, nothing matters. We're taking your retirement anyway.
Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest
world's
Ponzi scheme
richest
of all
man.
time.
Right, explain that.
Retirement.
Oh, so people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately. But the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying.
World's smartest man.
You're paying. Like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security.
People actually think this chud right here is a genius. People worship this guy. They think he is a genius. Every single thing in the government, you pay it in and it goes out. Where do you think the military budget is every year? You think if we don't pay a military budget, it just appears for them to use? It's everything. It's anything. It goes in and it comes out, but you make a promise, you make a deal, you make a contract with the government that they pay you out. I mean, what does he think that the billions we give him, the 30 billion we've given this welfare queen over his life, what does he think that is? Actually, that might be a Ponzi scheme. I think that is a Ponzi scheme, actually, because he keeps it, right? Social Security is a Ponzi scheme for the guy who's taken more than $30 billion from our taxes, right? World's richest man taking our money, keeping those returns, and then taking more. So yeah, I can see why he thinks retirement is a Ponzi scheme, because that's exactly what he's been doing since Obama. So we'll just unleash the chaos. Let the people fend for themselves in this deregulated Wild West. Until it leads to a next collapse, right? Until it leads to another recession. As someone who was looking for a job in 2008. You know what I mean? Republicans do this to us over and over. This right here is the game we've been playing for the last, I guess, my whole life, right? People are mad. Deficit did shrink more and economy did recover faster. Eggs! Eggs are $9. Gas is so expensive. People vote for Republican. Same thing happened with Bush, right? Republicans crashed the economy, massively increasing deficit. It took Obama 2 full years, 3 years to fix what George Bush had did. Took Biden his whole presidency to try to fix what Trump did. Democrats fix the economy, decrease deficit, and it all starts again. Do you know anyone that loves subscriptions, right? Do you know anybody? Because that's all we have now is subscriptions. You don't own anything. Do you know anybody that loves to rent their apartment instead of own it? Do you know anybody like that? Subscriptions and rent are tools of feudalism, and ergo, I don't think I've ever said that word before, ergo. Let's just pretend I didn't say that. That's a word I've only heard douchebags use in my whole life. And ergo, let's not use that word. Subscriptions and rent are the tools of feudalism and therefore the tools of techno-feudalism. When this recession hits, when we're all broke, losing our houses, losing our land, losing our property, the oligarchs will be the ones who can still have purchasing power because they've been hoarding this money. You know what I mean? They're not feeding any of it back. Trickle down as you get your head peed on, right? They're hoarding it just for this because they're going to buy everything. They're going to buy all the land for cheap, and there's not going to be anything we could do about it. A recession is a wet dream for Elon Bezos. Peter Thiel licking his chops. Peter Thiel has $5 billion in a Roth IRA. How's that possible? You can only put, like $5,000 in a Roth IRA, right? Through insider trading. He exploited a Roth IRA. Now he gets to take out $5 billion of tax-free money. How crazy is that? Peter Thiel can't wait to take his $5 billion in tax-free money and buy up all your property. Buy your farm. Scooter, Bubba, he's coming to buy your farm. But don't worry, because Peter Thiel will then rent it back to you. Because Peter Thiel needs money for his blood boys or whatever he's doing to try to not die, to try to stay young. Its deepest premise is that the actual world is devoid of value, impervious to reason, and governable only through brutal acts of will. Being a billionaire in 2025, with these weirdos, if I was a billionaire, if this was like the 80s or the 90s, you're a billionaire, I'd be on a super yacht with models. Well, I imagine my wife would have something to say about the models, but I would definitely be on a yacht, traveling, spending that money, living life to the fullest. But these guys, these weirdos, these guys that would otherwise be incels if they weren't controlling this puppet right here, who is a slave to the cash that they are giving him. If I was a billionaire on my yacht, I'd still donate to causes all around the world, try to help out. These chuds don't even donate. They don't even give any of their money. Richest man in the world. Name one thing he's donated to. One time he was going to donate to a homeless shelter, and he had a list, like a 10-page long list of all his demands, and they couldn't live up to it. Because God forbid, he loses $10 million trying to help out. But to these people, it's about owning, right? It's about owning you. Outright owning you. The ultimate libertarian fantasy of these billionaires, the ultimate end result of pure libertarianism is feudalism, where your entire health, right, your food supply, your water, your shelter, it will all depend on one of these oligarchs. It will all depend on the lord of that land. And recession after recession only accelerates this goal. They pick up more every time.
I'm a huge fan of Ronald Reagan, but he was bad on trade.
Look at the ticker in the bottom right
bad
corner.
On trade. He allowed a lot of people, a lot of businesses to be taken. So I say that with due respect because he was so great on other things, but he was bad on trade.
Watch the ticker go down on the right. This is Fox News.
Setting records right now.
Records
like
nobody
has ever seen
right.
before. When you have companies like this coming in, and almost 40% of their company in one signature is going to be devoted to what he does, which is one of the most important businesses in the world. That's an unbelievable thing. When Apple now is going to start building all of their plants here.
Because totally not planning to become an isolationist country and then trying to rev it up in a month, in a year, is totally reasonable. Fox News plays that ticker in the right corner. Plunging. It's still plunging. It's probably more now. Every time I look back, it goes down even further. Wiping away all of Biden's gains, all those records that we lived through. But this person right here, stumbling his way through, telling you everything is great, better than it's ever been. As, trucks go up $20,000 overnight. Food, eggs, $7 eggs. They're now $10 eggs, right? Everything is great. This is not a person who is concerned about his party winning another election again. Remember when he told those Christians, you vote for me this one time and you'll never have to vote for me again? I believed him. And I still believe him. And again, why would he be the CIA, FBI, Defense Department? Why would he have them all purged immediately? First acts of order, right? And they're replaced with loyalists proudly. I mean, here's his AG right here, Pam Bondi, right? What's she been up to? Well, here you go.
First and foremost, we got rid of the Jack Smith team. Gone. No. Those people are gone. We're still trying to find out.
She said it like it's a good thing to be politically
There are a lot of
purging.
people in the FBI and also in the Department of Justice who despise Donald Trump, despise us, don't want to be there.
Because they despise him, they cannot be in the FBI.
Believe in transparency. You have
can't
to
be
believe
in the
honesty.
military.
You have to do the right thing. And right now, we're going to root them out. We will find them.
Root them out.
They will no longer be employed. But again, we're starting at
This
every
is how
level of the
fascists
Justice
talk.
Department, Sean, and getting rid of the worst of the worst. But there are a lot more people that shouldn't be there. But there are a lot of good people who are out there now risking their lives every day making these cases. Today.
Today, the bad people are the ones who have a political opposition to Donald Trump. This has never happened before. I mean, it's happened before, but not in our country. This is the purging of, law enforcement, military with loyalists. This is the end. There's no one who looks at this and says, "Oh, this is how a healthy democracy operates." New president comes in, gets rid of everyone that won't do his bidding when the shooting starts, when the riots start. You know what I mean? Pam Bondi. Throughout the whole campaign, the New York Times, every other day, right? Biden's so old. How can he run? They didn't say too much about this old guy. Bruises on him from IVs. But now the New York Times, I guess David French writes this article. The notion that stuff they are breaking can be fixed even in 5 years, 10 years is to ignore the bigger picture. That's what I've been saying, David French. Which is simply this. America could have been viewed as making a mistake it learned from electing him the first time. These morons. The dumbest people in the world. Only 35% of this country can read above a 6th grade level. This time, however, the American people and the Republicans in power, who consistently help to subvert free and fair elections through their voter suppression efforts, Pete Hogseth, cutting off any kind of cyber, it's only going to get worse, have proven to the rest of the world that America's word, like Trump's, means absolutely nothing and isn't something you can just fix. This is his honeymoon period. You're on your honeymoon. He punches you in the face. I mean, it's a hell of a way to start a marriage. It's a hell of a way to start the next 4 years, the next 10 years, the next 20 years. Trust, once broken, is very hard to regain. And in the world of geopolitics, it might not even be possible. At least not without expelling the rot that got us to this point in the first place, which would require essentially removing the current Republican Party. This is the only way we're ever going to get we're ever going to fix this. And even if we could somehow manage to get enough power to do that, the only way to do it is with lasting and meaningful way to go. To bring many of them up on treason charges and tag anyone who gives them aid and comfort with the same. This is a pipe dream right now. This country is the weakest. These are the dumbest people. Right now, these are the dumbest people I've ever known. And it's because they think they're smart because they have a phone, right? Family members, they get everything from Facebook, from propaganda. They spread it mindlessly. No critical thinking, no looking into it. Can you believe Hunter Biden? French says basically we'd have to do with Republicans what the Germans did with the Nazis, right? Maybe Inglourious Bastards a little bit. I hate to say that. Would probably be the only pathway to regaining any footing on the world stage that doesn't involve dictators. I agree with you. The GOP isn't just dismantling American institutions. They're making it so no one, domestically or internationally, believes in us anymore, believes in America, believes in a handshake with us anymore. It's an intentional erosion of stability. This is what Steve Bannon wanted. This plays directly into the broader theme. They can't trust us anymore. NATO will be dissolved. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. Here, buy this crypto coin.
I think they actually want to kill me.
Why?
And the reason I know this, well, they say so online. There's like Reddit forums where they don't just want to kill me, they want to desecrate my corpse. Type of thing, It's
And
not,
what are they saying? Why? What
yeah,
is
why,
the primary-
Elon? Why? Introspection. Smartest man in the world.
I mean, I think it's sort of just an antibody response.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they're like, well, he's a Nazi.
Why would we think that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm not a Nazi. But if the legacy media is saying that I'm a Nazi,
Why would legacy
and that's
media
all
say
you
that?
read.
Why would legacy media say Elon Musk is a Nazi? And you know what? It's important to show the video, because if you don't show the video, the chuds will throw up their little pictures, right? It's important to show, because these idiots that were watching the State of the Union, not the State of the Union, they've latched on to nothing. Like it says, nothing, meaning anything, and instinctively they post still pictures of Democrats because it doesn't matter. It's nihilism. None of this matters. It's all just a meme. And again, this suffices for the devoid, empty party. Because in their mind, the world is devoid of value. It's impervious to reason. It's why I'm not covering the not State of the Union and instead trying to explain to you this ideology that has been festering in the Republican Party since my entire life. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. Most of you already know how old I am. But my entire life, this nihilism, in order to crave authoritarianism, in order to crave fascism, you have to be nihilistic. Humanity cannot really matter in those scenarios, in techno-feudalism. Why would the media say that, Joe Rogan? Why would they say I'm a Nazi? Because I didn't deny it the day after. No, instead I went and I talked to the German neo-Nazi party in this 1984 reminiscent scene, right? Didn't deny anything. I don't know why they say it, Joe. Smartest man in the world.
Then you're kind of in like, well, he's Hitler. We should assassinate Hitler, shouldn't we? Like, I mean, why did that guy try to kill Trump and almost succeeded? Why did he do that?
Well, I'd like to know that.
What do you think, conspiracy
that
theorist
one's
Joe Rogan?
Crazy. You know the whole deal with that guy's house, professionally scrubbed, no footprint on the internet, no social media footprint.
Yeah, there's 0% chance that he has no social media footprint.
He was in a BlackRock commercial.
I agree. What do you think, Elon?
Do you think BlackRock's a bad company?
Do you
I don't
think
think
BlackRock's a bad
any company is a bad company.
don't know.
I think their design
This
is
is some
to
weird
make as
coincidence.
much
Weird
money as humanly
coincidence.
possible. And
Everything's a conspiracy.
I think
but
if you're
that.
trying to make as much money as humanly possible, you're going to do some things that aren't necessarily good.
Try to make as much money as possible, you're going to do some things that aren't good. I don't know, maybe change your whole ideology, move down to Texas, and then as soon as someone calls out Betsy DeVos's brother of BlackRock, oh, I don't know, I'm not saying any company's inherently bad. Joe Rogan started as a conspiracy theorist, and this that they're talking about, the Trump attempt, was one of the most staged things I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. Right? As I've said before, this isn't a conspiracy channel. I don't want to break any of YouTube's rules. But as soon as he mentions BlackRock, Elon Musk says, oh, no. Not BlackRock. Huge contributors to the Trump campaign. And then Joe says, no company is inherently bad. Do you think mercenaries are bad, Joe? And in one of maybe the only self-reflecting moments this chud has had since 2019.
I think if you're trying to make as much money as humanly possible, you're going to do some things that aren't necessarily
If you're
good.
going to make as much money as humanly possible, you're going to do some things that are bad. Wow! They should write that on Joe Rogan's gravestone. Like platform, you mean like platforming, like popularizing, like normalizing fascism to millions of people a day? Back to that unelected bureaucrat. Back to Karen over here. He can't figure out why people in this country want, what did Republicans call it? Here, let's ask his VP. Elon Musk can't figure out why people would want to take it into their own hands. Let's ask the guy on the other end of that.
Nothing you can do, folks.
Nothing you could do.
Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is. I don't know.
The Second Amendment people, Elon, you hear that? Why would anybody want to do this? Well, there you go. There's the guy. Here, let's play it one more time. Let's play it one more time. Why would you want to do that? You ready?
Nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is. I don't know.
Who are these people? This is why we couldn't cover the not State of the Union. Nothing matters. It's nihilism. There's no truth. Why, Joe Rogan? Why do they hate me? Elon Musk, all of these billionaires that I talked about. I told you what I'd do if I was a billionaire on that yacht with not models, so my wife doesn't get mad. With my wife, with the dogs, I told you what I'd do. But they are so detached from any kind of, research ideals of how a democratic republic works. They have no idea. They've thrust themselves into it and started tearing it apart. And then they cry persecution. That's what he's doing here. Why? Why do they call me a Nazi while throwing up Nazi signs, while giving speeches to neo-Nazis? Why would they do that, Joe Rogan? They're contributing the very despair and instability that fuels the public wrath against them. It's so obvious to anyone who's not Elon Musk, lived in this bubble his entire life, prep school after prep school. Elon Musk had an emerald mine he got his money from. Peter Thiel's dad had a uranium mine. So the people they sent down there died, and then they just replaced it. Then Peter Thiel's even worse than Elon Musk. They are so detached from any kind of reality. And they have steered this Republican Party that always had nihilistic tendencies, Like I said, the end result of libertarianism is always feudalism. But now they have techno-feudalism. They've steered it into this reactionary nihilist movement, right? Its platform, to the extent it has one, is defined by policy positions or ideals, but by a negation of others' positions and the dismantling of existing structures. Governance for the public good has been replaced by a lust for power's sake, and opposition for opposition's sake. That's all we're seeing. That's all it is. And it's bleeding over into the morons because they don't understand what they're taking a shot of in the arm. And they never will. I mean, if anyone after 8 years is like, oh, wow, we're being manipulated, we're being used. If it took them this long, even still, I wouldn't trust that person to mow my grass if it took them that long to learn they were being manipulated. At its core, it's deconstructionism, right? I'm using my English degree again, right? It's deconstructionism. It's an assault on meaning. You know what I mean? A belief that nothing matters except victory and dominance. Separating the signified from the signifier. These Trump people, unless they hear it from, their phones, Charlie Kirk, Fox News, they don't believe it. You can't get facts through to them. They have lost the signified to that signifier of reality. They're detached. And as that New York Times article stated earlier, there's no easy way back from this. There's no way to correct this. There's no way to make these morons who've spent, some of them 20 years, some of them 30 years, watching Fox News being radicalized, intentionally being siloed in these news bubbles. There's no way to rationally get that back. So if this is the upside down, if this is, I think postmodernism has ended. I don't know. Someone out there has to name whatever era we're in, but it's the era that I imagine started with social media. The social media era kind of took postmodernism's worst qualities, the constant sarcasm, the focus on memes, and it hiding them, it weaponized them. So in this social media era, this postmodern political landscape, we have to ask, where does this end? Right? That's what people keep asking. Will this ever end? If all the norms are trampled on, all truth is relative, signifiers do not match up with signified, and all governments is, this performative rage that we cut out of. Trump went on in that not State of the Union to just talk about dead women. Lincoln Riley, the other one, over and over. He spent like 20 minutes. The only murder ever in American history. That's what he spent it on. The stock market's down 700 points. That's what he spent it on. What comes next? I'll tell you what comes next. It's like hiring a lumberjack. It's like hiring the CEO of a lumber company, the largest lumber company, to maintain your forests. That's what comes next. All right. Now here, since you guys stuck through it, this wasn't a very funny episode. I didn't have a lot of jokes. I didn't have a story about a chick in school eating that guy's butt. Becky. That's not doxing, right? You need a last name for that. I didn't have a story like that. But you stuck with it through the end. So here's a fart noise. I can make a face too to sell it like. You earned it. The Chud Report. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If it's your first time you like this episode, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you give our sponsor a look. See. Sign up for it. Help me out. I wouldn't tell you. You can say a lot of things about me, but I wouldn't tell you. A lot of sponsors have called. Like, people have wanted me to sell, like Alex Jones vitamins. Some guy wanted me to sell metals, precious metals. What do I know about that stuff, right? I don't want to sell you guys that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, Aura, I do use it. So I will put my name on it. But that's all I got for you today. I'm sorry I didn't have more of the not State of the Union. And if you stayed through that whole thing, you are more tolerant than me. Chud Report.
It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.